Let's move to our information item for tonight, the update on the Reimagine Learning Continuity of Learning Plan. Dr. Swift.
Thank you, trustees, President Johnson and trustees and members of the community. We very much appreciate the opportunity to share an update on our extended continuity of learning plan. Trustees, we have done this at essentially every meeting except for study sessions since the middle of March. And the state requires us to update one time per month and to hear public commentary on this plan one time per month. Yet we continue to do this at every public meeting of the board, and we appreciate very much the engagement from our community. We know that this is a very hard time, truly a very hard time for our students, for our parents, for our teachers and staff and leaders, and for our community. And trustees, I just appreciate your willingness to work through these difficult topics with us. We'll be looking tonight at this regular update, and then later in the meeting at your, what is called by the legislation, your confirmation of the extended continuity of learning plan. Tonight, we'll be looking at a few topics on this particular update so that our community, our board and our community have the most recent information. We'll be looking at the safety net of supports for our children, families, staff, and community. This includes our food distribution, our technology and connectivity, and updates on the software that we're using for learning, on our school supplies, counseling, and mental health. I want to note that academic updates as well as updates on the supports that we are working to continue to enhance for students with special needs and to all students who have those who have other challenges to virtual learning. We'll move to Ms. Bacalor in a health update. Trustees, as you are aware, because I try to update you daily or every other day or so, there's quite a lot of activity and information on the COVID health and infection situation in our community and across Michigan. And then I have a couple of calls to action that we want to share as a part of this update, and then a little bit about our AAPS election day preparation and our elections for fall 2020 message. We'll end on our next steps for this fall season in learning. I know that our desire to fulfill our critical mission of teaching and learning and our top priority of keeping folks healthy and safe, those two goals get entangled with each other. And I want to just speak to that. I do hear folks believing that we aren't attending to the student need side in lieu of the health and safety side, and yet want to reiterate that we are holding both of those priorities close, and they are the focus of our work every day. We do believe the best place for learning is to have our students, our teachers and staff and leaders and special providers, to have everyone inside our buildings. That is our goal. And I want to reiterate, trustees, that we are working every week with multiple meetings, literally on a daily basis, to ensure that we are fully prepared to return to school. And this includes our protocols and processes. We had a full session last week on the preparation of our buildings, our operations with transportation and food service. In-person learning is our top goal, and we are working diligently toward that happening. Just a reminder that that transition begins with our students who have specialized learning needs, those with IEPs, and our youngest students. And during that time when we transition, we've built in additional face-to-face learning time for our students with the greatest needs. And that will continue over the coming weeks and months and years, because we know that this COVID recovery process will be an ongoing process over the days and weeks and months ahead. We are now deep into our fall 2020 virtual opening. And I just want to remind everyone that our work now is to monitor our students and to add supports for students as needed. So when we see students in need, we are adding in supports now. You will see a little bit later this evening, those supports include a mighty team of social workers and speech pathologists and psychologists and occupational therapists and physical therapists and intervention specialists and many more counselors, many more team members. Those team members are all fully deployed to add supports and to ensure supports are in place for students with specialized needs and for all students who may be struggling in the virtual environment. So we will, through October and November, continue to add support for those students who are demonstrating needs for additional supports. This includes group outreach. Ms. Parks will be sharing more about our outreach efforts. It includes academic, small group instruction, tutorials, small tutoring groups, one-on-one tutoring, social emotional support, mental health, and other supports. During this pandemic time, we're also working to ensure that we are putting in place and continuing recovery services for our students at this time. You know that our direction for the year, trustees, as we've designed this 2021 school year, we certainly do not have control of the virus by any means, but we do have a plan in place that involves 3 settings on the dial: a fully virtual setting, a hybrid model that includes smaller groups of students. Go ahead. And then that fully in-person model. Prior to moving to that hybrid model, I do want to point out that we are having that preliminary phase of bringing in small groups of students with very specialized needs. So trustees, you're well aware of our work each week to refine a plan so that as soon as we see an opportunity in the infection data, we will begin with those most impacted students first. We are using our equity plan and our values that have driven our work throughout this process. Our safety net of support for students, as you well know, trustees, includes food distribution. I want to point out that we're currently serving at 22 locations. And this also includes 252 students who are served through Connections Plus groups and other groups who do get the food brought especially into their group. This includes 5 locations for afternoon delivery that works better with some parent schedules, and that's the 4:30 through 6 p.m. delivery. We will continue this work. As we learned at last meeting, trustees, we have been authorized to continue emergency distribution of food through June of 2021. And we appreciate that funding is in place. And remember, that is a drive-through distribution. Folks don't have to show an ID, just simply drive through. We're serving about 2,000 students a day, 7 days of breakfast and lunch, and snacks are provided. Trustees, our school supplies distributions continue. We are looking now at second quarter distributions, and the school principals have that information out because it differs a little bit by school, but those distributions are continuing. One of the trustees mentioned last meeting, and I wanted to get this into tonight's briefing because I know so many folks in our community want to be of help during this winter season. We do have a location on our website. Miss Nancy Shore is convening. This is an annual effort, and it will be even more robust, I believe, this year. And it's to help by providing gift cards, winter clothes, and gifts. And those who follow this link can go in and actually do the giving. There you can also see exactly what students and families have requested. It's just a wonderful clearinghouse there. I want to give a shout out to our community partners, the number of corporations and companies, small companies and individuals in town who've already been a part of this contribution, and it's open and available for anyone and everyone. I do want to also give a shout out to our Rec and Ed programming. This is actually a great component. We've had well over 2,000 K-8 students involved in this programming so far this fall. Last Thursday, you can see two photos here on the left, a free art class. You can see they're outdoors and masked and distanced. So they're doing it very safely. And then on the right-hand side, a ukulele class, outdoor ukulele, which I know was a real joy. So a big shout out to Miss Bacalor and the Rec and Ed team. We will soon be announcing the winter season of those activities for Wednesdays and Saturdays, and really for all the time, but we do have a special emphasis on Wednesdays and Saturdays.